Hello, you're still watching Metro Television. Welcome to News Flash with me, Nanaji. Coming up in the bulletin. The National Chief Imam urges Muslims to be tolerant as Ghanaian Muslims join the rest of the world in celebration of Eid. Officiating Imam called for continuous interfaith tolerance. And later on in the bulletin, quote unquote, we did not know free SHS funds was used to procure the past questions for the Clement attack. Thank you very much for your time. Let's now take our first story. Chief Imam Sheikh Dr. Nuhu Sharbutu has urged Muslims in Ghana to remain tolerant as they celebrate Eid with the rest of the world. He made these comments as he led the Eid prayers at the National Mosque here in Accra.
Is there anyone who gives his support to anyone who is in need of his help? Is there anyone who shows compassion to the one who needs his compassion? Whenever he sees him following the wrong way, is he able to help him out? In all these things we have failed, we have not been able to be perfect.
Will make our country a sanctuary of peace and security in all nations of the world. May Allah grant us the gift of peace and harmony in it is our land, Ghana.
Now, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has expressed worry that Ghanaians are letting their guards down, hence the surge in the new COVID-19 cases. The President therefore urged Ghanaians to be responsible and observe the prescribed protocols as the government works to secure vaccines to get about 20 million Ghanaians vaccinated by the end of the year. The President said this while addressing Muslims at this year's Eid al-Adha celebration at the National Mosque Complex in Accra.
Chief Imam, Jamal, the COVID-19 pandemic is still with us, fortunately. And this has meant that for the second year running, we are having to hold a subdued Eid celebration. As we continue to count on the grace of God to protect our country from the ravages of the pandemic, like we have done since its outbreak, we can only minimize its health effects and avoid a full-blown third wave if we continue to be responsible and observe the safety and hygiene protocols. The recent increase in the number of infections is a source of worry for me and indeed for all Ghanaians. From the rising numbers, it is safe to conclude that we have let our guard down, and we're beginning to live our lives and conduct our businesses as though we are in normal times. It is important to repeat that the virus is still with us, and until each and every one of us receives a double dose of the vaccine, the protocols must continue to be a part and parcel of our daily activities. The Ministry of Health is working hard to ensure that even in the midst of a global shortage of vaccines, the target that we have set for ourselves, that is the vaccination of the adult population of Ghana, some 20 million Ghanaians, is undertaken. Until that goal is achieved, I will continue to count on the support and cooperation of the Ghanaian people to ensure our collective security.
Let's still stay on the celebration of the Eid, where owners of some crowd have hinted of a boom in the business of compared to the 2020 window, which was affected by COVID. They were speaking to Shadrach Odamejare.
Sheep, we sell cows, everything we sell.
So last year there was COVID. COVID was at its peak, and then we were not really feeling the Salah vibes.
Yeah.
How is it like? How is sales like this year?
Oh, this year the market is moving, but not like last 3 years or last 2 years. I hope you understand. So last year is about the COVID, so people don't get enough money to buy the cows. But this year we are seeing the improvement of the cows. There are people are buying it.
So like during today's Tuesday, from last week, how has sales been? Like how many cows or sheep have you been able to sell?
Well, since Saturday or Sunday we sell like 5. Yeah, 5 cows.
And then
The sheep we sell like 20.
So currently, how much is one cow costing?
One cow, it depends.
Okay.
We have 30 million, 40, 60. Like the other one there is almost 60 million.
The black one, the one on the floor.
The floor.
Okay.
And this one is 50 million.
Which one?
This one, 50 million.
The white and black on the floor.
Yeah, 50
that
million.
one is 5,000.
5,000. So this we sell is 62.
The one with the contact written on it. Okay, so that one is
60.
That one is 6,000.
This year we have improved small. Yes.
They are making profit. I think I should reconsider my decision of being a journalist and probably do some switching into animal farming. But my name is Shedrack Odamejari from here at.
Now, away from the Eid celebration, some Ghanaians have been calling for the head of the health minister, Kweku Agyeman-Manu, for his involvement in the botched procurement of some 3.4 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines. The minister admitted that he independently approved the purchase of a $64.6 million contract for Sputnik V vaccine from Russia out of frustration. Let's listen to the minister when he appeared before the ad hoc committee of Parliament tasked to probe the controversial Sputnik V vaccine procurement agreement.
Health Minister Kweku Agyeman-Manu told the ad hoc committee of Parliament tasked to probe the controversial Sputnik V vaccines procurement agreement that accumulated frustrations to procure the vaccines for the country compelled him to disregard parliamentary approval as required by Article 1815 of the 1992 Constitution. The minister also admitted that he made an error in not seeking parliamentary and cabinet approval in independently approving the $64.6 million contract.
Did you seek parliamentary approval before you entered into this contract?
No, please. You appreciate the fact that the pronouncement by the Supreme Court vis-à-vis the constitutional provision clearly talks about prior approval. You appreciate that.
Honourable Chair, very much so. But my frustrations to try to get a vaccine for us at the heat of our second wave, I relied on the Executive Instrument 61 that was passed by Parliament to hide behind emergency clauses that have been invoked to try to see if I could do that and come to Parliament to inform Parliament that this is what I have done, and therefore need regularization. I need approval to cover it because we were in that need of the vaccine, and I had the onus to try to procure the vaccines to vaccinate Ghanaians to protect our lives. Honourable Chair, I must be very honest with you. At the time was the fact that I seriously made that error, and on hindsight, it won't happen any longer.
You are aware of how we deal with emergency situations in Parliament. We have conventions and rules and regulations governing how you deal with emergency issues, i.e. appearing before the relevant committee and make a case so that the issue can be dealt with as an emergency issue. Why didn't you take advantage of that procedure?
That those were not normal times, and I was seriously in the situation that couldn't make me think properly the way you think that now I will actually address myself to the situation.
Mr. Minister, are you aware that we have dealt with issues and motions on the same day before on the floor of the House, in this House. And let me give you examples. You remember the 1.2 billion and the $100 million from the World Bank. We dealt with it the same day. Couldn't you have done that?
I could have done that, but the circumstances at the time was a little bit different.
Kweku Agyeman-Manu further added that the second contract with another intermediary firm, SL Global, is also under review.
Now, commenting on the Minister of Health revelation at the ad hoc committee responsible for the probing of the purchase of the Sputnik V vaccine, Alex Sewefi expressed shock, saying the executive instrument used by the health minister is only available with just the health ministry alone.
It's an unfortunate admission. When you're in a crisis position of this nature, you need to be clear in your mind that you don't make independent decisions. You should have been bringing this to the attention of the presidency. You should have been bringing this to the attention of cabinet at the very least, so that decisions can be made collectively, especially since you knew you were in a position where you were going to breach the laid down processes or procedures that existed. To go down that road, you really have to have been talking to. It appears to me that he has, because he has the mantle of health minister, he assumes that all the problems of Ghana should just remain with him and him alone. And that is not the way our cabinet position works. He should have been speaking to the vice president, to the president, and then they would collectively make a decision where they should be going and what they should be doing. He should be talking to people in the ministry more. And we have a COVID team as well, and it's putting forward, what do we do in this circumstance? In my view, he seems to be relying on the emergency powers that were granted as a result of the COVID situation that the presidency has. I haven't seen the paperwork. I'm not aware that he has put anything in writing to that effect. And even if he did, it doesn't still stop him. Why? Because as we speak, we still don't have the vaccines. The nature of what has happened would have shown that had he even followed proper procedure, we may not, somebody would have said along the line that, look, before you go into private sources, let's go through the normal procedures to see what we can do. The history of this government is that every time things go wrong and you point them out, they either reinvent white papers that say that the thing is not wrong and that it is right. They put all sorts of impediments in the way. We have people who have been killed and who have been maimed, and we haven't seen any government action or expedited government action in these areas. The Ayasu West Wuhan issue happens. Who am I, poor former Minister of Health, to tell the government what it should do or not do? Because even if I did, they would not listen.
Yes, hello, NEWSFLASH here on Metro Television. We go for a break and come back to do some more stories on COVID-19. You're welcome back from the break. Still watching NEWSFLASH. The bulletin is live on Facebook and YouTube on a handle Metro TV Ghana. Now to other stories. The former Minister for Health, Alex Sebefia, has condemned His Excellency the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for breaking COVID-19 protocols, even though he is supposed to lead by example. Speaking on Metro News, lawyer Sebefia said the President has no right to call citizens to order, since he himself is captured on camera breaking the rules.
I think that the government is in a difficult place because now you have different variants coming on board. You also have to take into account that you have COVID saturation. But for me, the biggest issue is leadership by example. If government continues to go to functions and rallies at the topmost echelon, not wearing masks, seem to be partying, not wearing masks, going around, not doing social distancing, yes, both political parties a hand can be pointed at all of them, but leadership must come from those that are in power first. It is, and from top right to the bottom, and then you can point fingers at all others. And if the government of the day, who has ultimate responsible, continue to hold functions where and attend functions for and to obtain political gain, therefore do not follow the COVID protocols themselves, there is no point in the president coming to tell us about the protocols, because there's no leadership by example in many instances. And therefore, even saying that the opposition do say it's not going to wash, we are not in power. The leadership should come from those in power and then point fingers at us and say, look, this is what you should have done or what you shouldn't have done. But it's not a case of free for all. We must have leadership from the top by example. And the COVID protocols, as the Ghana Medical Association have said, is actually the first line of defense that we have as a country, especially with the new Delta.
Let's stay a little further on COVID-related cases. The management of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology says there is an astronomical upsurge in the numbers of COVID-19 cases on campus. A press statement issued on Monday, signed by the Deputy Registrar Daniel Kumijan, said schools authorities have therefore directed that there should be a strict adherence to all COVID-19 safety protocols at the various colleges to curtail the spread of the disease. This is more in the following desk report.
According to the press statement from the school, there is an astronomical upsurge in the spread of COVID-19 on the KNUST campus. It added, all Veronica buckets are to be filled and used constantly in the school to avert further spread of the virus. The communique said hand sanitizing and wearing of nose masks in the school would be strictly enforced. Meanwhile, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly KMA has also disclosed that lives have been lost to the novel coronavirus disease within 2 weeks. In a press statement on Monday, the public relations officer of the metropolis, Henrietta A.K. Abuaje, said the region has seen a rapid surge in COVID-19 cases, with health facilities recording over 200 cases with 10 deaths in less than 2 weeks. She attributed the upsurge in Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly to the massive disregard for COVID-19 protocols. In its latest update, the Ghana Health Service GHS revealed that as of July 14, a total of 382 new cases have been reported. The service added that Ghana's active cases stands at 2,858, with the death toll rising to 812. Although 98,817 cases have been confirmed, 95,114 persons have recovered and have been discharged from the health facilities. By the statement, the Assembly is entreating the general public to come on board in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic in Kumasi Metropolis.
Now, away from the health matters, the Member of Parliament for Bosa South, Clement Apak, speaking on procurement of the purchase of some past Christians, says that the Ministry of Education could have directly gone to WAEC for approval for getting the past Christians papers and would have cost less. He has mourned the fact that it was procured through free senior high school funds.
So I would have thought that given that leverage, we should have been able to use it to get a better deal. Even if WAEC had given the exclusive rights to Kingdom Books, we could have also gone to WAEC to get rights, and then we could have then advertised and get competition, which would have then reduced the price. So we didn't exercise what was a legitimate advantage that we have, because we fund WAEC, not all, but we give them budgetary support. So why did we have to go through Kingdom Books to get material from an entity that enjoys support from us? So these are all issues that, I believe will require further answers. And I'm particularly worried about the fact that for the 2021, as a committee, we were not told. And it was not captured in the budget estimates. So if I had not asked the question, we wouldn't have been told that this has already been done. And that raises questions about the oversight responsibilities of the committee and even the oversight responsibilities of Parliament.
So when he stated that the procurement of these questions was funded through the free SHS school accounts,
yes.
Was that not information enough for you to be able, as a committee, for you to be able to detect that, well, some funds had moved from this account to something?
No.
Which would lead you? Who
Actually, as a matter of fact, it is only when the minister came to respond to the questions that we became aware that the funds had been drawn from the free SHS account. We didn't know that.
Who mans the account? Who is in charge?
Well,
of
the account would be housed in the ministry. Originally the Free Senior High School Secretariat was housed at the presidency.
Right.
But it has now been moved to the ministry. So this will be at the ministry. But the issue is not where the account is. It is about expenditure on the account. Without the knowledge of the committee and without informing us.
Such that if
this was going to happen.
If there's been an activity on the account, the committee will not be able to detect it until it's told?
We wouldn't be able to detect it. We would only become aware when it comes to a public accounts committee, post facto. And that is why it's important that we file some of these questions.
Now, as part of promoting investment, Ghana has attracted about 284 Nigerian investors into Ghana with investment value of $1.6 billion. This, according to Charles Opoku-Mensah, the head of public relations at the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. He said this at the Ghana-Nigeria Business Council breakfast meeting here in Accra.
Ghana-Nigeria Business Council is a non-profit organization which serves as a market entry support service for Nigerian investors in Ghana as well as Ghanaian investors in Nigeria. In the breakfast meeting held in Accra, the head of public relations at the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Charles Opoku-Mensah, revealed how Ghana is well positioned to collaborate with Nigerian investors.
So far, we've attracted over 284 companies from Nigeria to Ghana with an investment value of about $1.6 billion. All these investments that come in don't come in to displace any Ghanaian business. I mean, there is enough space for everybody to exist. So there is no way where you say the investments that are coming in to displace Ghanaian business.
The Secretary General for Nigeria Union of Traders Association, Everatus Mwanko, has called for a reduction in minimum capital requirement to aid Nigerians to freely do business in Ghana.
If you put those requirements into consideration, no average Nigerian can do business here. People will always try to do certain things in order to survive. When the government deem it necessary to, put the stakes so high, people will circumvent that government requirement. And that is what the union is saying. We don't want people to do things illegally. We want people to pay taxes based on their capacities. But you bring down the requirements so that people and average people can also contribute.
A council member of the Ghana-Nigerian Business Council, Reginald Lai, called on the need for Nigerians to respect the existing laws of Ghana while both countries continue discussion on arriving at a mutual trade agreement.
Every country needs to protect their own, and I believe that we have the ECOWAS principles to begin with. Thereafter, we have just recently introduced AFTA. So there are rules and regulations, and I believe that, like in any game or in any association, there are rules to be respected. Till the rules change, you abide by the rules.
The event brought together stakeholders like the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Ghana Free Zones Authority, and Ghana Export Promotion Center. Alberta Bisiu reporting for Metro News.
Now, as part of measures to enhance economic activity in the Asokore-Mampong municipality in Ashanti region, the Assembly, in collaboration with SOS Children's Village and some No Business as Usual projects, have presented some startup of about 75 young individuals who had completed 6 months intensive training in entrepreneurial skills. There is more in the following report, filed by Ashanti Regional Correspondent Abdul Basit. Rep to you.
In a short ceremony to hand over the startup kits to the 75 graduates at Abuabo in the Asokore-Mampong municipality of the Ashanti region, the municipal chief executive Alhaji Alidu Seidu reiterated government's commitment in creating employment opportunities for the youth in the country. He also pledged his commitment in making Asokore-Mampong an entrepreneurial hub for the youth in the region.
Also meets the requirements of international standards was an issue, but through the MBE we've been able to train our people how to package locally produced commodities. So today, if you go to our various shops, you go and see manufactured or produced within Asokore-Mampong. So that alone has paid a lot of dividends.
Our partnership with the Asokore-Mampong Municipal Assembly.
Okay, join us at 7 on Newsnight for more news. Now, thank you for being part of the bulletin. My name is Nana Yewentri.